Good morning, everyone. You know, there's not many, if anything, in this world that I'm afraid of. I fear God, but that's something completely different. But this, as a sheriff, this day, I prayed wouldn't come. I certainly wish I knew when it did that I would make sure that I wasn't following a grieving mother. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. As we came to the church this morning from the mortuary, there were many people lining the streets. There were people parked that had stopped their cars, that had stood out from the driver's side, that were saluting, that were waving, that were crying. There were children that were holding flags, holding signs in support. City workers, private business workers. A school had children that were out against the fence, lining the fence. So I do have hope. As I looked around this morning, as I look around here outside the church, I see a lot of different uniforms. I noticed earlier, and I was told, that there are some from other states as far away as Florida. While all of our uniforms look different, they are all the same. The men and women inside those uniforms are all the same. They are all here today because they lost a brother. We are here today to pay our respects to Deputy Cordero and to his family. We are here today to mourn and honor a good man who was tragically taken from us far too early in what surely was to be a promising career. Yesterday I was speaking to a man who was offering his condolences to Deputy Cordero's family and to the deputies of the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. He does not have a law enforcement background, but he said how much he understood and respects the brotherhood of law enforcement and how Deputy Cordero's death hurts and affects all of us. He told me that we are different, a special breed of men and women who become family simply by putting on a uniform. I know and we know that he is correct. There is a special bond between all of us. So on behalf of the men and women of the Riverside Sheriff's Office, Deputy Cordero's family, I want to thank all of you for coming here today to pay your respects and to honor our brother and our son. When we experience the death of family and friends, the most common question is usually why. Why did they have cancer? Why did they have a heart attack? Or why were they killed? In a case like this, where we have heard over and over, and we will hear further after me, what a great special man Cordero was, we ask, why is it always the good ones? Let me offer you this. If you believe in God, you know that our time is set, it is limited, and it is not guaranteed. Sometimes we're just simply afraid that it could have been us. Sometimes we actually blame God as if it is his fault. Sometimes there are just no answers. In this case, however, we do have an answer. We know exactly why he was killed. Deputy Cordero was killed because of two simple reasons. The first is because of his chosen profession. He was a deputy sheriff. The second is because there is pure evil in this world. Evil who manifested itself as a man with a lifelong history of victimizing others, who would do the unthinkable to stay out of jail. This battle of good versus evil is age-old. God versus Satan. Since the beginning of time, God has sent warriors to fight evil. One of the more common Bible verses to explain where evil comes from is found ironically in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12 through 15. Also in the words of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 8, when God asked, "Who shall he send?" Isaiah stood up and said, "Send me." Deputy Isaiah Cordero stood up and said, "Send me." As we gather today to celebrate the life of our fallen brother, we must never forget the battle. We must not let his death be in vain. And we must never be afraid to pursue justice. We know there is evil lurking in the shadows, and we must continue to seek, fight, and destroy it. There is something inside of us that makes us put on this uniform and willingly battle against evil. Service to others above the safety and security of ourself. The problem today is that sometimes it is impossible to identify where or when we will find that evil. Was there only one evil encountered by Deputy Cordero in that traffic stop? Or was that person only a part of a much bigger evil? An evil who lies to us, empowers and protects the evildoer and the evil deed, eliminates the consequences of evil? A friend sent me this quote the other day. It is from Jeffrey R. Holland. He's a famous religious person. He sent it to me in part because it is inspiring, in part because he knows I'm a sports fan. I link everything towards sports and teams, but also because I think it is so relevant. The quote says this: "The future of this world has long been declared. The final outcome between good and evil is already known. There is absolutely no question as to who wins because the victory has already been posted on the scoreboard. The only really strange thing in all of this is that we are still down here on the field trying to decide which team's jersey we want to wear. We all know which jersey Isaiah Cordero chose to wear. We are all wearing the same one. To honor his service, to honor his life, we must continue to fight against evil in all of its forms. It doesn't matter your job, your profession, or your title. Never be afraid to seek, expose, and destroy evil. We lost a deputy, the Cordero family lost a son, and the world lost a good man. I will never allow his death to be in vain. I am asking all of you to remember Deputy Cordero in everything that you do. For our guardians and our warriors, honor him by remaining vigilant while you continue to pursue evil that preys on all of us. For those not in uniform, we must speak up and demand better from our politicians, our lawmakers, and our judges. For the leaders of these guardians and warriors, I am asking you to find the strength and the courage you had when you stood up and said, "Send me." Join me in making sure that what happened to my deputy doesn't happen to yours. Isaiah's mother said something briefly in that traffic stop kind of exemplified what we are as law enforcement and what we represent. At that point in time, Isaiah was a guardian, taking care of his city, taking care of his neighborhood, and made that enforcement stop. And he was confronted with evil. We sent warriors to eliminate that evil, and we did. We will never know what further evil and what further damage that man could have done had it not been for that traffic stop. We will miss Isaiah. We will mourn him, but we must never forget him. Rest in peace, Deputy Isaiah Cordero, RSO Strong.